All right, if this video found you, then you are ready to learn about how to actually use metaphysics to your best ability. And I don't mean astrology, numerology, or human design. I mean putting all those together because each is so unique. And when you understand how to use them, which I'm going to share with you in today's video, then it makes life so simple. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel. If I create a shift in you, give me a like and also drop it in the comments below. Because honestly, I'm not creating this for just me. I want to share that information with you, and you need to share the information with people who are also watching this video. So make sure you do that. And then the promise for this video is going to be really simple. At the end of this video, you will understand how to use astrology, numerology, and human design to the best of your ability. So let's get started. All right, so to break this down really simply, let's start with astrology. I think that's the most common that people know. And when people hear astrology, most people just know their sun sign. And when they know their sun sign, I'm like, you're missing all the other great ones, right? Like we already know who we are in a sense of our ego, but there's so many different aspects. Like when you know your moon, that's your emotions. Mercury is communication and also how your mind works. Venus is how you love, whether it's slow, fast, in between, everything there. Mars is work. Let's see, Saturn is the structure you need in life. It's also the one thing that you came here to learn how to do. Neptune is your access to your intuition and mysticism. Then you have Uranus, which is like the great disruptor and restlessness. I got mine in my first house. I'll never stop moving. And then you got Pluto, the great planet of transformation, and is actually the most powerful. Then you have all these asteroids that are like sick, like Chiron, tells you what wound you brought into this life and how you can heal it. Then you have Lilith, which, you know, depending on where it is, can be your strongest placement. There's so many different stuff, but essentially, to keep astrology really simple here, it essentially is a snapshot of all the stars, where they were in celestial bodies, where they were at the moment you were born. And what this does is it gives you all the clues of your south node, say like your past life sun sign and the gifts you brought into this lifetime. Also, when you're most triggered, you go back to your south node placement because you know it best. Then you have your north node, your destiny, your midheaven, your career, and how people view you, right? So it's all the details of the gifts that we brought into this lifetime, whether they be previous or whether they be in the present too, right? And if you don't have planets or celestial bodies in a house or a sign, that is stuff that you've mastered. So you really don't need to go back and relearn it. And everything in your chart is what you came to master, okay? That's like the simplest way I can break down astrology. But overall, like look past your sun sign. At least know your sun, moon, and rising in your midheaven. Those are the most important placements. Your sun is your ego, your moon is your emotions, your midheaven is your career mask of how people view you. Like you might view me as charismatic. I got Libra at 29 degrees. And then your south node is your previous sun sign. I think I said that. I forgot what other one's on the list. But anyways, there will be an astrology specific video. But what I want you to remember in this video is astrology is a detailed snapshot of all your gifts, talents, and skills that you get to use in this reality. And it also tells you what you've already mastered, okay? Simple. Now we're going to move on to numerology. Numerology is very simple. So if you add up your birthday, so mine is March 15th, 1991. So you got to do it number by number. So it's 3 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 1 equals 29. And I'm a unique example. This is a master number. So I'm the wounded healer, the master psychic. Essentially, I can be very diplomatic, but very emotionally attuned, right? I'm a Pisces sun and moon too. But essentially, and if you're not a master number, so then you add up your birthday and you want to reduce it down to a single number. So mine equals 29, so 2 plus 9 equals 11. So when we go to reduce it to a single, it goes up, you know, it stays a double. So that's a master number, 11, 22, and 33. But say my mom's birthday is 3/14/1966. So you add that up, it equals 30. So 3 plus 0 equals 3. So she's the life path 3. So if you know your life path, then you can also look up your pinnacles. Pinnacles are a little harder to perform on camera, but it's all, there's AI and there's the internet. You can search this stuff. But once you find your life path and then your name, each letter has a number, you add those together like we did on the life path, that's your destiny number. If you know your life path, your destiny number, and your pinnacles, you're good to go, because all numerology is simply the path that the character walks. So if there's a linear line like this in your reality, it's you start here, you finish here, and free will allows you to move however you want, but you stick to the path and you have to. And then it tells you what kind of character you're playing in the movie. So essentially what I'd break down numerology, just to simplify it beyond belief, is it's the story that you're living and the character that you're playing. That's it. Then you stack it on top of astrology, and now you know the gifts, your skills, your talents, what you've mastered, what you brought into this life, and what you're learning in this life. And then you understand the character you're playing in the movie and the scene that your movie is set in, right? Astrology, numerology. Now let's add in human design, and I saved this one for last for the people who stayed for this part of the video. This is the coolest thing, and I haven't heard anybody else describe human design like this, so get ready for it. Get your popcorn ready. So the way I describe human design to make people simply understand it, because there's a lot to look at. Not only that, it's a lot, 9 chakras. I mean, it essentially blends the Chinese I Ching, astrology, numerology, the extended chakras, and I think that's it. Maybe something more, but essentially it compresses all this stuff. But what I want you to remember from this, let all that noise go. What you need to focus on is, if reality is the motherboard computer over here, human design tells us how we can plug into the computer. So for instance, if you're following what you think is correct, it tends to be what we're conditioned to as to who we actually are. Especially if you're a projector, you have to do so much deconditioning before you get to access yourself, because projectors and reflectors are the most conditioned. But essentially, if reality is this computer and you're getting a bunch of 404 errors and everything you're doing isn't working, you're not plugging into reality to your correct human design. So when you understand your human design, from your definition to your lines to what energy type you are or non-energy type you are, and your definition and so forth, and then your incarnation crosses, literally like helps you understand your life's purpose if numerology and astrology didn't help you out enough. Then you put all this together, and then human design teaches you how to plug into reality through your design with the path of least resistance and maximum flow. So for instance, as a projector, if I'm endlessly listening to all these generators and manifesting generators on Earth, and I'm initiating, and manifestors like, you just need to go find leads, and I'm like, it doesn't work. I'm a projector. I'm a mental projector. You know, so like when I create initiation, I get resistance, so I don't get clients that way. And then my channel is actually the 1156, so I have to tell stories. So instead of being like, this is the lecture, this is the pitch deck, that doesn't work for me either. I live an upside down and backwards life. So what I have to do is tell stories, and in telling stories, people actually get the full essence, and they listen to what I'm saying, and then they understand all the features and the details, right? So essentially, when you understand human design, it teaches you whether you're an energy type or a non-energy type, whether you're somebody who can initiate, or you're somebody who generates, guides, or is just here to simply reflect back the collective unconsciousness to reality, right? But essentially, 70% of the world is generators and manifesting generators. So they're like, grind, hustle, stress, pressure, initiate. And the other 30% of the world is like, that doesn't work for me. And in 2027, the projectors take reign. Woo! So we're going to be the guides here, and it's going to be a different lifestyle. But it's like, essentially, if you understand how you operate, then you can create least resistance, plugging into reality, which is like the collective unconsciousness in the motherboard computer. And when you plug into it like a flash drive, instead of getting 404 errors, you're going to endlessly flow and operate and become electromagnetic, because the more you stay in your authority in your human design, the more magnetic you become, and the more people show up in front of you instead of you chasing them. And the best thing I can say here too is, like, when you understand your human design and master it, then you become so magnetic that people literally, where's it at? I went to a biohacking event for Joe Schmolte, or whatever his name is, the Danger Coffee guy. This guy in front of me, I was like, why is he playing a drum? And then he hands me this, and I'm like, my aura is so magnetic. And then I met this guy and was like, oh, dude, this thing's sick. And then he's like, I didn't even have to create an invite. He's like, saw my camera in my bag, and he's like, do you shoot content? I need to shoot a ton. Are you located in Austin? I'm like, yeah, let's shoot, bro. But you get the gist. I didn't initiate. I just asked him about his product on this one. And then on this one, I was just like, what is that guy doing? And got curious, which is a projector's gift. And then he offered me one. I didn't have to ask for either. And both brought me to the solution I was looking for. Now, if you are a generator, you're just simply meant to respond to the environment. If you're a manifesting generator, you can initiate. If you're a manifester, you can initiate. If you're a reflector or projector, you do not initiate. Period. So there's like a little sample of human design, right? And like I said, I'll create standalone videos for each of these because they're so dope and fun to talk about. But let's recap this before my battery dies. So astrology is a snapshot of all the details, talents, and gifts you brought into this lifetime and your previous life and what you've already mastered. Numerology is the scene And there's essentially the movie and the character that you play in the movie. And then human design teaches you how to plug into reality as a computer into the motherboard. And if you're getting a bunch of 404 and errors that aren't coding out right, you're not operating in the right system. Now, when you unify these all together, you have everything you need metaphysically to operate. So my battery's about to die. Thank you guys for being here. Be sure to join Enoch. That'll be in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.